Mark's been doing extremely well for the fact that he's riding 16 hours a day. However, he has picked up a couple of little niggles, which are to be expected. One being when he was doing, he's had two really big hilly days lately, and he also got quite cold and wet during those times as we came across the west coast into the north of Scotland. And during that time, he just irritated what's called the fat pad underneath his kneecap on the right. And then today, going into like a really heavy headwind, obviously he's got to put more pressure through the pedal. So he's just getting quite tight through the inside of his quad, so the VMO muscle. And on that, so today I just did a quick bit of treatment again to release increased tone that he had through that muscle. Both hands basically, because he's just constantly leaning forwards, and his hands, he tends to ride at the moment quite on the hoods, which is the top of the handles. And all it means is because he's sort of forwards and leaning, and the roads have been quite sort of bumpy sometimes, so he's got a lot of vibration. What happens is the sort of blood and fluid is just going down into his hands, and because he's not using sort of biceps and through the wrist flexors, the muscles. You need to get venous return in order to get return of blood flow back up to the armpit and back to the heart. You need to work the muscles to kind of pump it back up. So if he's not getting any active pump, it ends up what we call sort of venous pooling. So he just gets a lot of puffiness into his hands. We've been also using a machine called Compex, which stimulates muscle. So it's a way of, I can apply it. It contracts and relaxes the muscle, which means then it creates a pump in essence. So whilst he can be doing other things like eating, or I'm stretching out his hips, we can be basically creating an active pump in those muscles to try and get some drainage in each of those breaks that we have.